This evening, specialty hospital seeks cure as Indian government's conditions remain unmet. University of Guyana's Vice Chancellor proposes revision of the admissions criteria. Safetv program, the latest initiative for the learning and training of vocational technical skills. The Guyana Police Force sees parking meters as a beneficial implementation to their work. In the region, in Trinidad and Tobago, the vendors contend with police and are backed up by crowd support. And internationally, Joe Cox, a Labour member of the British Parliament, is brutally murdered.
From Safetv headquarters in South Rival Gardens, this is Safetv Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel, as well as our website, safetvguyana.com. Join us. The construction of the specialty hospital has hit a major setback as India has ruled out their financing of the project because Fetters Lloyd will not be the contractor. This company has been flagged by the World Bank for improper practices. Andrew Weeks reports that Minister of State Joseph Harmon broke the news today at a post-cabinet press briefing.
Minister of State Joseph Harmon said the decision was made via a letter in June 2016 to the government of Guyana by the Indian High Commission in Georgetown.
The contractor, Fetters Lloyd's Corporation Limited, was not eligible to continue the project because it was debarred or disbarred by the World Bank from projects until 2020 due to its procurement policy.
The APNU plus AFC government had been harshly criticized and several concerns were raised when it awarded a project to Fetters Lloyd without going to tender. This rejection by the Indian government means that the project will have to go through a fresh tendering process to select another Indian contractor, says Minister of State Joseph Harmon. But will the project still be in the pipeline?
As a result of this new development regarding the project, the Ministers of Foreign Affairs, Finance and Public Health have been requested by Cabinet to make certain inquiries of the Indian government before Cabinet adopts a definitive course of action on the specialty hospital project.
When the APNU-AFC government took office in May 2015, they decided to use the funds in the project on primary health care and identified the West Demerara Regional Hospital, the Soddy Hospital, and the Bartica Hospital as the beneficiaries.
The previous administration had initiated this project by way of a United States $18 million line of credit provided by the government of India to the Exim Bank of India. The project was halted by the previous administration and the contractor, Surrender Engineering, taken to court by the said previous administration.
George, Minister Harmon said the Indian government was satisfied with the process the government engaged in when it selected Fetters Lloyd. However, our financer was concerned about the position the World Bank would take as the contract required an Indian company to construct the hospital. George, back to you.
Thank you, Andrew. The Guyana Police Force expressed that the parking meter system may be beneficial to the force's work. However, the force is expressing that the consultations with City Hall on the project have not started. This was disclosed to Gina by 2 senior police ranks. Kingsley Bryan provides the details in this report.
Clarity on the issue of the planned parking meter installation around the city has still not been had. The City Council is awaiting the return of the mayor and her team so that the details of the project and the legitimacy of the contracted company can be determined. A necessary part of the process would definitely have to be engagements with the Guyana Police Force. However, Acting Commissioner David Ramnarine said discussions are still to be held with the mayor and City Council.
I would want to believe that if it is to come to fruition, that prior to that, there would be necessarily some consultation. But at this point in time, we have not been approached.
The meters are expected to be placed at strategic locations around Georgetown, and drivers will be charged for the time spent parked in the location. Traffic Chief Dion Moore is expressing that the parking meter system would actually be beneficial.
The present system there, you find a lot of persons are parking in areas they are not permitted to park. With the paid parking system, it will benefit both the police as well as the citizenry, as well as the business sector.
There is no consensus on the parking meter, since the council is still undecided on the issue. They are yet dealing with the issue that the company may be bogus. There was outrage at a recent council meeting, since councillors felt sidelined by those persons and inquired about what appeared to be secrecy on their part. George Tonklack Royston King has since defended the trip. He said that it was to finalize arrangements with the same questionable company. He has promised, however, that upon his return, a press conference will be held to clarify all issues. Back to you.
Thanks, Kingsley. The new Vice Chancellor of the University of Guyana says that he is not satisfied with the output of the institution. In this report, Rihanna Ahmad will tell you more about the professor's plans to strengthen the admissions criteria.
Despite a massive increase in student numbers, the stature of the University of Guyana has somewhat dropped. This is a major disappointment for former students, like the institution's newly installed Vice Chancellor, Ivla Griffith.
And the dissatisfaction with the output, again, has many sources. And one of those sources is the insufficient provision of what is needed by the lecturers, insufficient provision of what is needed by the staff to do their job. So they have not been optimizing their jobs because they have not been given the resources. And the ultimate losers in that whole scenario.
Even though issues like the lack of resources can be used as a form of justification for the fallen grades, the reasonably relaxed criteria for entering the university has also been seen as a reason behind the drop in stature.
Our local admission is a context of what we're recruiting from in the high schools. And irrespective of what you think of the last 3 decades of this nation, the reality is our primary and secondary education has lost quality.
Professor Griffith further explained that not only has the not-so-strict requirement process compromised the integrity of the institution, but it can also be seen as a major discomfort to some of the more esteemed lecturers.
What the university has been taking in is a lower quality, trying to manage that quality, and in effect, sometimes compromising the integrity of the lecturers, because they feel now obligated to not flunk everybody in the class. They feel obligated to manage what they're taking in. So I intend to have a conversation with the stakeholders beyond the university.
The quality of the students and the level of output of the institution need to be raised in order to fill one of the very crucial gaps, that being the intake of foreign students.
We've got to not think of admission of only Guyana-based students. We've got to think of how can we attract students from the Caribbean? How can we attract students from South America?
Rihanna Ahmad, Safetv 2 Headline News.
Thanks, Rihanna. Coming up on Headline News after the break, skills training is a guaranteed entrepreneurial occupational opportunity available in TVET. And Amy's Pomeroon Coffee promises to provide a local but unbeatable brew.
Everybody knows John Lewis Styles as the Levi's and Dockers store. But did you know we're also an authorized dealer for Nautica, Perry Ellis, US Polo, Natural Issue, Joffrey Bean, and many others. We also carry the Bruno and Drill brands, who are actually the makers of Express shirts, at half the price of Express. So the next time you think of men's clothing, shoes, and accessories, there's only one choice. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
With a distinctive flavor, Umda Palkagi is made from 100% pure vegetable oil. This Palkagi is a delight when preparing sweetmeats and other dishes for healthy cooking with a rich buttery taste and aroma. It is used for religious purposes and is a principal fuel for burning. Umda Palkagi is light, pure, with a real ghee texture.
Hi sporting fans, I'm Rex Pereira, former West Indies cricket commentator and Eastern Caribbean sports director, all disciplines. But this is talking about basketball. Why? Because we need your support. 2nd of July to the 17th, Guyana Basketball Federation hosting the Youth Championships at the under 16 level. It's going to be great basketball. Players of tomorrow will be demonstrating their skills. We want to fill the sports hall for only $1,000. Now the sponsorship of the private sector is vital. The government of Guyana is setting the tone by providing $20 million. But my special appeal really is to the private sector. The private sector can play a vital and important role. Please get on to the Guyana Basketball Federation. I will see you there.
For the father that does everything, plus has to put up with you should get him only the best. At Clarence, from the casual dad to the classic man, Clarence has everything. Sneakers, jeans, t-shirts, suits, shirts, from 25 to 50% off. Shoes, belts, wallets, shades, and colognes at great discounts in store.
This sale is for 2 days, June 17th and 18th.
Have a happy Father's Day when you shop at Clarence on Church Street. Clarence, for quality clothing at affordable prices, always keeping you in style.
Guyanese seek to embrace technical vocational education training as the next big entrepreneurial wave that will eradicate unemployment. Andrew Weeks reports that this was the view coming from the government educators at a workshop held recently at the Linden Technical Institute.
According to a GINA report, Chief Education Officer Olato Sam asked if the Linden Technical Institute was being underutilized. He was speaking at a workshop at the said institute and explained the reason for his query.
Scores of unemployed, untrained, and uncertified youth need to be enlightened about the tremendous potential that exists in this realm. In fact, I would venture to say that the economic viability of this community depends on the extent to which we utilize this resource and others like it to effectively prepare our youth to take advantage of opportunities that will ultimately present themselves.
Mr. Sam was talking about the TVET program, which, according to the CEO, was the latest initiative for the facilitation of the learning and training of technical and vocational skills. This innovation was proposed to provide a pursuant with a profitable job. He feels that in the past, employment opportunities were taken up by foreigners due to the lack of training and certification of the local workforce.
Virtually every new and expanding industry in Guyana demands technical skills. Yet the young, able-bodied citizens who should be driving this at the forefront, acquiring skill sets and pushing in relation to what we offer, are recognizably absent. And they really should be pushing the envelope.
George, Mr. Sam calls for a range of options to be provided for females. The opportunity is there for them to pursue their non-traditional areas as well. Further, Olato Sam calls for an upgrade of training beyond the traditional methods, which would see the infusion of modern and state-of-the-art equipment to usher in the dawn of the TVET program. George, back to you.
Thanks, Andrew. The Food and Drug Analyst Department has issued a warning against the use of Ajinomoto, widely known as Aji. Authorities have so far been seizing hundreds of packets of this fake Japanese product from stalls and shops all across the country. Persons are being warned that the fake Aji is being sold cheaper than the original Aji and deemed bad for consumers' health. The authority highlighted that a carton of 50 packs by 454 grams of the original Aji costs approximately 20,000 Guyana dollars, while the cost of a carton of the counterfeited product is only 14,000 Guyana dollars. It is unclear as to who the errant importer is, but the Food and Drug Analyst Department is working to find out, and the guilty parties can be charged and placed before the court. Wholesalers are therefore called upon to check their products before selling them. The counterfeit Ajinomoto is being sold in 1 pound, 200 gram, and 100 gram packets and is traded particularly in outlying areas. Laboratory analysts conducted for purity both in Brazil and Japan revealed that the original product is 99.90% pure, while the counterfeited product is only 91.63% pure. Something new is brewing for Guyanese coffee drinkers. Amy's Pomeroon Coffee hopes to be part of a movement to revitalize the domestic coffee industry. Here's more. The coffee industry in Guyana dates back to the inception of Guyana as a colony. In recent years, many long-standing coffee plantation owners have been destroying their trees and moving to more profitable crops. This slow destruction of a centuries-long industry prompted Louis Holder to start Amy's Pomeroon Foods, which now manufactures Amy's Pomeroon Coffee.
Because I knew the history of coffee in Guyana, having been introduced here since 1721 by the Dutch, I thought it was sacrilegious to have the industry just go by the wayside. So I came up with the idea of maybe if we were able to process it and market it to the Guyanese public, that we could save the industry in the Pomeroon.
In order to familiarize Guyanese with the product, Amy's Pomeroon Coffee is holding taste testing events around the city. This particular event was held at the Ministry of Agriculture on Regent Street. Since its inception last year, sales have been sluggish. Holder attributes this to widely held negative perceptions of locally made goods.
A woman came up and looked at the coffee packaging, and she said, "This is excellent. Where did it come from?" And he said, "Guyana." And she put it down and walked away. That is the culture we have to defeat.
Amy's Pomeroon Coffee aims to change this fact. Holder believes that it is vital for the nation's economic survival to support locally made products. Whether or not the company will be successful in revitalizing the coffee industry, only time will tell. Still ahead are regional and international news.
Women's fashion trends change every day. That's why John Lewis Styles makes it their duty to source items directly from the manufacturing brand, offering you more choices and better prices. Women love to look great, whether it's for work or play. From clothing, shoes, accessories, to handbags, watches, fragrances. Let's make you feel like the only girl in the world. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
With a distinctive flavor, Paukagi is made from 100% pure vegetable oil. This Paukagi is a delight when preparing sweetmeats and other dishes for healthy cooking with a rich buttery taste and aroma. It is used for religious purposes and is a principal fuel for burning. Paukagi is light, pure, with a real ghee texture.
This place is really hot. What's wrong with your AC?
It's not working.
Well, we wouldn't be able to continue this meeting anymore because this place is extremely hot.
Wait, please don't go.
Here's a company you can call to get your AC fixed. Action Cool.
Honey, what's dinner? I had a hard day.
I'm sorry you had a hard day, but guess what, babes? I didn't cook today because the stove is not working.
Having trouble at home or at the office? Then call the professionals at Action Cool. Our fully trained technical team have the skills and experience in repairs of all air-conditioned units, refrigerators, gas stoves, washing machines, and a whole lot more. For further information, visit us at 86 Hill and Princess Street, Mandela Avenue, Georgetown, or call us on telephone number 225-7867.
In news from the region now, Guyana is not isolated in its vending woes. In Trinidad and Tobago, the vending struggle is very much a reality as a vendor and police officers recently came into conflict. C News reports.
This was the scene in downtown Port of Spain just before noon. The vendor, who police say was obstructing traffic and selling pineapple chow without a food permit, gained the support of onlookers who voiced their displeasure to the police. This officer tried to explain he is simply doing his duty.
Instructions we are working on. But you're not supposed to touch her. She are breaching. You're not supposed to have a female officer. She ran to and pushing the girl. Any long run she could touch. She could say you touch her, not touch me, touch me. Ma'am, yes ma'am. She's obstructing the free passageway. She's unlawfully offering for sale and she's unlawfully selling marketable commodities without a license. No, and we have specific instructions the police works with.
Another vendor selling the same product as the woman taken in by the police was not happy.
You're doing the right thing in this country by selling chow. We're going out there to make our money. But when you do the right thing, the law will lock you up, send you to court for doing the right thing. So I want to know where is doing the right thing. This is not doing the right thing.
Corporal Videsh Supersad of the city police explained to C News the situation escalated unnecessarily when the woman refused to peacefully comply with his officers. The vendor is now facing 3 charges, including resisting arrest. Ian Wason, C News.
And internationally, Labour MP Jo Cox has died after being shot and stabbed outside her weekly advice surgery in West Yorkshire. A 52-year-old man is being held by police. The details in this report from CNN.
British Member of Parliament Jo Cox was attacked in her constituency in Northern England shortly after noon on Thursday. Local media say a man shot and stabbed her outside a library in Burstall near Leeds, where she was meeting local people. Eyewitnesses describe hearing screams.
There weren't normal screams then. They were like panicking. And then like when we looked down the road, there was a woman laid on the floor.
A man in his 50s was arrested at the scene and a number of weapons recovered by police. Cox was taken to a nearby hospital, but doctors couldn't save her.
I am now very sad to have to report that she has died as a result of her injuries. Before going into further detail, I would like to express our deepest sympathies to her family and friends at this tragic time.
Police say another man at the scene was lightly wounded.
And whilst we celebrate our diversity,
Cox has been an MP since last May, a member of the opposition Labour Party.
We've lost a wonderful woman. We've lost a wonderful member of Parliament. But our democracy will go on. Her work will go on.
Cox, like most in her party, supported Britain staying in the European Union. She has been vocal on the issue ahead of a referendum on it next week. Cox's family were out campaigning on a flotilla on the River Thames yesterday. Since the news of the shooting, both the Leave and Remain camps announced that they would suspend their campaigns. Prime Minister David Cameron cancelled his planned rally in Gibraltar Thursday night, saying it's right that all campaigning has been stopped after the terrible attack on Jo Cox. A local councillor who knew Cox spoke to CNN shortly after the attack.
I'm absolutely stunned. And as you probably would realise, I'm incredibly upset as well, you know, that a young woman's being attacked in this way, and she obviously has a husband, young children and family. It's heartbreaking.
Just hours later, Cox's husband tweeted this picture of her along the River Thames. The motive of her attacker is not yet clear.
And that's Safetv 2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Safetv 2 Headline News on Facebook, YouTube, and SafeTVGuyana.com. You can also tune in Sunday evening at 6 o'clock for a rebroadcast and Monday evening at 7 o'clock for more news. Before we close our broadcast, we at Channel 2 want to wish all fathers a happy Father's Day. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast. Do have a blessed weekend.